All right, here with Josef Newgarden out at the Recplex today here. You're promoting the Hy-Vee IndyCar Weekend doubleheader at Iowa Speedway, a race you are very good at running.
I love Iowa Speedway. It's a great track. You got to be out here. The month of July, for us, specifically July 12th, 13th, 14th, you're going to have great action all weekend. It is one of the best tracks to drive in an IndyCar. It's very intense, 7/8 of a mile. Good racing from our side, and I think from a fan's perspective, you get to see the whole track, which is really exciting. Typically at Iowa, you get multiple lanes that are usable, and I hope that's going to be the case again this year because that's what makes the racing action so good.
Has there been rumblings, and I know you've just answered all these questions for people, but has there been any rumblings about what this repave might look like? Have you talked to the Team Penske NASCAR guys and asked them what they felt in the NASCAR test that was there?
Yeah, I saw some videos, but it's so difficult to say because the stock cars run a little different than we do. We're not going to know until we get on the tracks ourselves. We've got a test coming up in 2 weeks that most teams are going to be running. It's going to be really critical that everybody gets a test in, and then by the time we get here for the race weekend, we'll see how the track has evolved a little bit. I mean, the pavement's super fresh. The thing that's interesting is that the entire track wasn't repaved. That would be one thing. They really only repaved part of the corners and 1, 2, and 3, 4. But the entry hasn't been repaved. So I think you're going to be pretty low grip into the corner, and then you're gonna gain a bunch of grip as you get to the middle. So the driving style is going to be right now wide open. I don't know what it's going to look like at the moment.
Is that a little unnerving to you, or do you think that could produce a new wrinkle into a pretty great racing product that we've seen in the past there?
I'm excited about it. I mean, I can't judge it yet because I don't know what it's going to race like, but I love a new challenge, and I think this will provide certainly a different challenge than what we've had in the past. We're going to have to find a different way to build the car. It's going to need something different with the pavement change. So I'm excited about it. I hope it races just as well as it has.
How do you get so good at ovals over the last few years? Yeah, you were solid when I was growing up, and then it seems like now you're just the king of them.
Well,
anytime they come around,
it's hard to beat great race cars. I think at Team Penske we've got the best cars in the field, and we've got some good partners as well. Typically, I get to drive the Hitachi PPG or Shell car, and it's just really tough to beat the best cars. It really is. I want to say it's something that I'm doing, but I don't think it's that. I think we're just building the fastest cars right now. Indy was another example of that. We blocked out the front row. It's not been done in 30 plus years. So yeah, it's a fun form of racing. I didn't grow up with ovals in my background, but I very much enjoy it, especially Iowa Speedway. It's one of the best.
And then obviously back-to-back Indy 500 champion. I know you've talked about this ad nauseum probably the last 3 weeks. When did it set in after that race? You go and party with the fans, and that's kind of becoming your thing there. When did it set in that you're one of the few people that won 2 in a row there?
Yeah, I mean, it's immediate. I think when you win Indianapolis, it hits you immediately. There is no delay factor. I mean, like right before you cross the line, you know what's going to happen. There's just an impact there that I don't think you can replicate in all of motorsport. There's a significance to it. There's an energy. That amount of people, nothing rivals it. I mean, it's double any other major sporting event in the world. So yeah, there's no delay. I mean, it hits you immediately when you win that race.
So you've won 2 now. Have you at all thought about 4?
Of course. How could you not? I mean, I think about 5, to be honest with you. It's a lofty goal, very lofty, but I'm not saying that's going to ever happen, but I think you have to have those dreams. What's wrong with that? I mean, that's why I wake up every day. I want to be the best at what I do, and that's what keeps me going every year.
Absolutely. And I told someone I'd ask this. We need an on-the-record update about when is Bus Bros making a comeback. Is it making a comeback ever?
I hope so. I want it to. I've been kind of poking Scott about that. I was like, we got to do an episode at some point. So I'm all for it. I hope we can get one in the future.
Have you talked with him about the double, and would you ever run it?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think Scott very much wants to do the double. I do. I think a lot of guys do. If you ask most racers, they would want to try that. It's just very difficult to get in a position where everybody allows it to happen. It's tough right now. We've got to focus on our world. It's so difficult to win just an IndyCar as it is. So I think that's the priority for us. But yeah, if there's one day I can do the double, I want to do it.
What's that look like for you? Do you seek out and call around over the off season, or is it something that will kind of organically come up if it comes up?
I got to be honest, it's out of our control. I could go talk to everybody that I want to talk to. There's, you got to convince people to say yes, and that's a little outside our control.